Hey there, it's me again. Um, whew, big topic today. I haven't done a video about my coming out experience, and that was a little while ago. It started clear back. Well, you do know I have had heart surgery before. If not, there's a video in my vlogs that talks about that. And um, let's kind of go from there, because after I was done with heart surgery, I went back to ninth grade in junior high. And I was walking in the halls alone by myself because they treated me very fragilely. I wasn't allowed to play sports, wasn't allowed for people to bump into me. I wasn't allowed to lift weights because it would increase the blood pressure, and they just barely put me back together. So it was kind of an interesting and lonely experience. Um, just a little bit of a recap. I had two traumatic brain injuries up here, about the size of a nickel and the size of a dime. It affected my mood. I mean, heart surgery would affect your mood. And so instead of figuring out if I like certain people or not, I was spending my time on just recovering and getting caught up with classwork. So that's a little bit of the background. But I looking back, I had this neighborhood friend, and he was openly out and gay, and I that didn't register for some reason, and I had some difficulties with that friend. Um, I mean, I could have figured it out a lot sooner, looking, because I'm now older, and I can look back and see a line of events. I'm going, I should have known I was gay a long time ago. But that's not what happened. What happened is I was traumatized from heart surgery, and then I grew up in Utah, and the predominant religion here is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons. Well, if they don't like that word. Uh, so I was very active, and I was there's a lot to Mormonism. Maybe I'll talk about that in a different video. But for now, heart surgery, Mormon, religious Mormon boy. They're essentially Christians with. They're Christians. It's probably different than your version of Christianity, which is fine. Religion is a very interesting topic. We'll get there eventually. Um, sorry, deep sigh. We went. Yeah, I don't know why. Was it? I like my stepdad had a few kids at the back in the day, and they lived with us. And one of the older boys was um, bullying and saying bad stuff. He went off on a tantrum, and I put on my headphones and ignored him. He was trying to tell the parents that I was gay, and I don't know what his goal was, but I wasn't even out to myself then, just because I guess people can figure it out and it's obvious. Deep sigh. When was it? Because I also had this experience where one of the even older step siblings at the time was introducing me to Sims 2, I think, back in the day. And he was telling me that the Sims can woohoo, and that it didn't really matter what gender the Sims were. I mean, putting this all back together in bits and pieces is interesting to like go, oh, I should have had an aha moment here, and here, and here. And the gay boxes were all checked a long time ago. But it wasn't until I was watching the movie 300 in the theaters with my family. We were a few minutes in, and I think Leonidas kicks the Persian guy down the well. It was about then I started crying because the little ding, the light bulb finally turned on. It was a magical experience, and it was like I'm gay, and that was like the self acceptance light of all time. It wasn't fizzly or cracked or nothing. It was definitive and life altering. Um, I was already being bullied at home. I don't know how much I was being bullied in school because for the longest time I was shuffled to and from classes by myself. Um, and I was heart surgery boy for most of my peers. So uh, it's weird to think about it, but I was in seminary and I was doing well in seminary. I didn't do the whole David Archuleta experience and go on a mission, but when that came up, I was living at my grandparents, and not only was I reading the Book of Mormon, the Bible, and the Doctrine and Covenants, as well as the magazine publications, The Friend and The Ensign. I was donating to tithing regularly. I was even doing fast offerings, even though I was basically broke and living with my grandparents at the time. It was a big change because, they back in the day, they were saying there's ways to pray the gay way, or I don't know what convoluted conservatism ideology there was and still persists. My only solace was I was watching YouTube and I stumbled across a few different couples. I'm not going to name drop them entirely. Um, there's a few really famous ones from back in the day. Okay, maybe a few. I'll name drop a few. See if you know them. There was Davey Wavy. One of his most memorable ones was he had a balloon memorial for victims of LGBT violence and suicide. And there was Tyler Oakley. Didn't watch a whole lot of him, but he was there. The main one I watched was a channel that's essentially deleted now for plenty of reasons. If you want to look them up, that's fine. It's Lush Laws was the channel. They were a cutish couple, at least on film. There's always backstory that never makes it to YouTube, and that's their story and stuff they went through. But at the time, it was inspirational to see two people build a life together. While I'm deep diving into my religious doctrine, it was probably one of the few things that kept me going. I researched the It Gets Better project. That's also on YouTube. There's testimonials. I'll probably be doing one of those videos soonish, because it does get better in some ways, and it's hard and different in other ways. But yeah, I had good influences. I found plenty of websites which, went over former religious people talking about their experience with their own gay children or other things that gave me a lot of hope. My biggest fear was not, I mean, I was praying to God all the time, being like, just change me into who I'm supposed to be, or whatever. And the sad thing was, for me to realize years later, like this process took like 10 years from from when I died at 14 to when I came out fully at 24. That 10-year gap had a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of suicidal ideation. And there were things that kept me going. The There was hope still. It was as if one day, with a spark of realization, God's answer was live. I told you at 14, heart surgery boy, that was the answer I was getting most often. Um, Being religious is there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't want to go there all the way. But even after that, it took me some time. I was out to my cousins and my grandparents and my mother and my brother and my sister. They all said, "We know," basically, and we love you still. And that was a very powerful and transcendent path. I eventually decided to resign from the religion I grew up in. I wrote a 3-page letter outlining my position on why they don't have all the answers, and how I couldn't approve of being in that same shared space. So I wrote 3 pages of discourse and discord with them. And then my dad was the most religious in my family, and he invited me up for, I don't remember the event exactly, but I brought a rainbow cake. If I had editing skills, I would post the DeviantArt picture. Um, there's lots of little things I could pop up on the screen. I probably need to learn some editing skills, but it was rainbow inside and out, and and then I also brought those 3 pages with me, and I handed him the envelope, and he didn't kick me out. That was my biggest fear, that my parents would disown me and I'd be on the streets, because not every religious person in the world is very nice to their own children, and that was hard for me, because I didn't know what was next. There's a little bit of back and forth. I saw a therapist once or twice. Um, One of the therapists was like, "A tiger can't change its stripes, can it?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Gay people don't generally change. You are who you are." And that was, at the time, it wasn't the answer I was looking for. But now it's like, I understand that better. Most people in psychological territories uh, are doing better nowadays than they did with my elder LGBT people. It's a work in progress, and lately I have been seeing a lot of. I don't want to get too political right now, so we're going to kind of gloss over that and just say that if this video found you, I love you. You are who you are. And there's acceptance and love past this point too. Um, it's been somewhat difficult. After I came out to my dad, I went to university and had my first kiss. He was fantastic. I won't say his name, but yes, it was very awesome, and some of the experiences past then were still amazing. Um, right now, things are a little bit difficult for me, but I am working on myself. I'm working on a book project. Got lots to do, but right now, I would say that living my life authentically and honestly as exactly who I am is the only correct course, because telling the truth, there are plenty of passages in the Bible, in the Book of Mormon, probably in every other book you could read religiously, about telling the truth and not lying about your neighbors and a whole bunch of other things that you can't even be true about who you are. How in the hell are you going to be true about anything else? I don't know. This has turned into a little bit of a longer video. Apologies for that, but thank you for staying here the whole time. I probably missed a whole bunch of topics, and you probably have a whole bunch of questions. So please do me a favor. If you made it this far, hit the like button. Comment below on any and all questions you have for me. And I'll try to do another follow-up video on different topics. Feel free to reach out, and it's good to sit down and talk with you. I know I'm talking to a camera right now, but hopefully I'll see you soon. Yeah, have a good day. As always, much love. There's never enough.